Martin Luther King Jr. grew up in a time when African Americans faced deep injustice and discrimination. From a young age, in the segregated South of the United States, he was a direct witness to the pervasive and demoralizing impact of unfair laws, the daily humiliation of segregation, and the chilling presence of hatred. He saw signs that dictated where people of color could eat, drink, and sit, and he felt the sting of being treated as a second-class citizen in his own homeland. This early exposure to systemic inequality could have easily planted seeds of bitterness and anger in his heart. However, from the very beginning, he chose a different path. Instead of responding with anger or a desire for retaliation, he cultivated a profound belief in the transformative power of peace, the unifying force of love, and the undeniable truth of equality for all people. He was deeply influenced by his Christian faith and the nonviolent teachings of Mahatma Gandhi, which together formed the bedrock of his philosophy. He envisioned a world not defined by racial division, but one united by shared humanity and mutual respect, a vision that would guide his every action in the years to come. As a pastor doctor, King found his calling and his platform. His powerful oratory skills, honed in the pulpits of his church, became a beacon of hope and a call to action for millions. He used his voice not to incite violence, but to lead a revolutionary movement founded on the principles of nonviolent protest. He was unshakably convinced that real, lasting change could only be achieved through peaceful resistance. He believed that confronting hatred with love and violence with unwavering calm was not a sign of weakness, but the ultimate demonstration of strength and moral courage. His leadership was put to a monumental test during the Montgomery Bus Boycott, a pivotal event sparked by Rosa Parks' courageous refusal to give up her seat. For over a year, the African American community of Montgomery, under King's guidance, walked, carpooled, and organized, refusing to ride the segregated city buses. This sustained, disciplined protest showed the nation and the world that unity, patience, and a steadfast commitment to nonviolence could successfully challenge and dismantle long-standing systems of injustice. The boycott was more than a victory against a local ordinance. It was a powerful testament to the potential of a united community to bend the arc of the moral universe toward justice. One of his most powerful and historically significant moments came during the 196 March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. Standing on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, before a crowd of over 250,000 people, he delivered his legendary "Have a Dream" speech. In that moment, his voice echoed across the National Mall and into the hearts of our nation, articulating a vision so clear and compelling it has resonated through generations. His words were not just a protest against the present reality of racial inequality. They were a prophetic and poetic painting of our future America. He dreamed of a day when his own 4 little children would live in a nation where they would be judged not by the color of their skin but by the content of their character. This single, powerful idea captured the very essence of the civil rights movement. His speech inspired millions, both black and white, to believe in the possibility of a reconciled and integrated society, galvanizing support for the civil rights legislation that was then being debated in Congress. The speech became an enduring anthem for freedom and equality, a timeless call for America to live up to the true meaning of its creed. Though his life was tragically cut short by an assassin's bullet in 1968, Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream did not die on that Memphis balcony. The legacy of his nonviolent struggle and his unwavering commitment to justice had already set in motion an unstoppable tide of change. His courage and sacrifice were instrumental in the passage of landmark legislation, including the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965, which legally dismantled the structures of segregation and disenfranchisement he had fought so hard against. These laws fundamentally reshaped America's legal and social landscape, opening doors of opportunity that had been shut for centuries. Beyond the borders of the United States, his philosophy of peaceful protest became a blueprint for activists and freedom fighters around the globe. From the anti-apartheid movement in South Africa to pro-democracy protests in Eastern Europe and beyond, his example continues to inspire people everywhere to stand up for justice, to confront oppression with dignity, and to fight for a better world peacefully. His dream lives on in every act of courage, every voice raised against inequity, and the every heart that believes in the power of love to overcome hate.